Hey guys, so today we're going to be filling out a custodial cleaning service contract for a City Hall campus. So the contract was available December 6th at 8 a.m. The questions due date, the due date to ask question, guys, is December 13th at 10 a.m. And the final submission date is December 16th at 10 a.m. Now there is a optional site visit on December 11th at 10 a.m. I'm going to show you a quick B-roll of the site visit that I went to. I always recommend you guys to go to your site visit so you can see exactly what you'll be servicing. Now, some site visits are mandatory, so be sure to check out the project description. This site visit was optional. All right, guys. Now, after you read the RFP, the first thing you need to do is ask questions. My main question I always ask, what was the previous company's price? And as you can see here, someone already asked that question, and it is $21.58 per month. Now, I actually reached out to the director of this contract, and he broke down what that $21.58 a month entails. So that is one person working 5 days a week, 8 to 12 hours per day. So let's quickly break down that price, guys. So $21.58 per month, let's divide that by 4.3333. That's how many weeks are in a month. That'll be $498 a week. Divide that by 5, that's $99 a day. Now let's divide that by the 8 hours that they say the one employee will be there, and that's $12 an hour, guys. Let's see if we divide that $99 a day if the employee was there for 12 hours per day. That is only $8.25 an hour that this company is making. $8.25 to $12 an hour. That's not going to be our price, guys. We're going to price it enough to pay our employee a decent wage and price it enough to get some profit for us as a business owner. But it's good to break down that price and see exactly what we're working with here, okay? All right, let's move on to downloading these documents and filling them out. All right, guys, so there are only 4 documents here. So let's download the City Hall first floor layout diagram and see what that is. All right, it's just a floor plan of the first floor. Let's check out the Lebanon City Hall second floor diagram layout. And it's exactly what it says it is, the second floor layout. All right, let's download the actual RFP, the custodial cleaning service contract, and it is just a couple of pages long. It is a 2-year service contract with an option to extend it for 1 year. And as you can see here, they also require mandatory background checks. I spoke to the director at the site visit. They are paying for the background checks. That's another thing to keep in mind, you guys. Sometimes companies ask the vendor, which is you, to pay for background checks for your employees. So be sure to include that in your price. All right, let's scroll down. So they ask for only a monthly quote and an annual quote. I'm going to enter an example monthly quote at $30 per hour, and that'll be 2 employees working 8 hours per day, 5 days a week for $30 per hour, which will give you a monthly quote of $10,400 and an annual quote of $124,800. They also ask you for a price to deep clean the entire place one time, so you can establish a baseline for the contract. Now, an example I put in is for $720 for a one-time deep clean. That is 3 employees working 8 hours per day at $30 an hour for a price of $720 for a one-time deep clean. They also ask how much it is to clean the interior side of all exterior windows located on the first and second floor. Now you can enter in your price. I usually go by man hours, how long it will take your employee or your employees to get that job done, and multiply those hours by that hourly rate. All right, now let's move on to the third question they ask. The cost for cleaning of the interior windows must include a mechanical lift. So how much will it cost to rent a mechanical lift? I suggest looking up an equipment rental website and check out how much it would cost to do that. And I can show you a quick B-roll of doing some research on how much it would cost for a mechanical lift, and you just enter in your price there. Now, the next question they ask is how much is it to buff and wax as needed the atrium Hawks Peaks break area, and the employee entry hallway. Now, in order to price that, you would have had to either gone to the site visit, or you can check if the contract includes the square footage. So let's go back to the contract, and as you can see here, they have a spreadsheet of the square footage of each area. And as you can see here, the atrium is 3,490 square feet. And since I went to that site visit, I was able to measure the employee break room as well, which is about 4,000 square feet in total. Now, to make it easier for you guys, you can always Google cost per square foot for stripping and waxing. I will leave the link to HomeWise below. You enter in the zip code, enter in the square footage, and they will give you the highest amount at $1.38 per square foot and the lowest amount at $1.14 per square foot. I always go for the highest amount just in case, but that's just me, guys. So I just entered in, as an example, $5,504 to buff and wax as needed for those areas. Now, that is all the questions they ask for this contract. I always recommend, once you've done and completed a document, always organize your document. Save it with your company name, enter it in as complete, and leave the rest of the title of the document the same. Now that you're all done, let's go back to the procurement site and submit your contract. Now, to submit your contract on this website, you scroll all the way down and click prepare your submission. They ask you a few questions like your first and last name, submit your title, which is the owner, enter in your email and phone number, and to upload your proposal there. They also give you an option to upload any additional documentation as well. The additional documentation I choose to upload are my references. I suggest with a contract like this that is pretty simple, if you want to upload any additional documentation, you can either upload your references, but most importantly, upload your references, your past work. Now, the final question they usually ask is to acknowledge if an addenda was in this contract. Usually when they ask that, you would need to add in the addenda's title and the date they submitted that addenda. So if it's addendum 1 and it was submitted November 1st, you would put addendum 1 November 1st. If there was no addenda, you would just enter in none. And be sure to save your responses. Now that all your responses are saved and you upload your documents, you check that box and click submit, and your submission is complete. Be sure to check your email for your submission receipts. Download the files that you submitted just to make sure everything is correct. All right, guys. If you have any questions, I do free consultation calls where I help you with filling out these contracts, understanding these contracts. We also offer virtual assistant services where we connect you with a virtual assistant from out of the country to help you with any of your tasks. You can even train them how to read these contracts, how to look up these contracts, and apply for these contracts for you. Click the link down below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. All right, guys, peace.